put your hands together for Alex Novak.
I think I'm getting a divorce.
This movie is about people trying to come to terms with who they are in life, what their goals are, their relationships, and how they see themselves. And we focus that with two people and then satellite around their community. And the ultimate sort of exploration of the film is the grace that we have to give each other.
I think in a lot of ways, we find different ways to distract ourselves.
Yes.
And it's scary to be confronted with where you're at and to try to figure out a way to talk about it.
That's what I loved about the movie. It's a movie that talks about, you know, second chances, right? We need to allow ourselves to transform.
It's just learning to be honest enough with yourself that you can actually tell the other person, which is so much braver. We've all lived that story.
Yeah.
You know, every couple has been through that story.
We try to explore a lot of things in this movie, to be vulnerable. And the hope is that we did everything so truthfully that maybe one, two of those explorations will resonate with people.
On the Red Carpet presents a behind-the-scenes look at Is This Thing On?
The inspiration for me for the film was Will Arnett, who is my dear friend for almost 30 years, and somebody who I've always, he's always been the funniest guy in the room. And he was talking about a project that he was developing based on the life of a comedian in the UK, John Bishop.
He's a very successful comedian, and a mutual friend said, hey, do you know John Bishop? And I said, no. He introduced me, and he said, John, why don't you tell Will how you became a stand-up? And he told this story that really inspired our story of a guy who is going through a divorce and stumbles upon stand-up. Actually went to a bar, and they said that there was a cover and didn't want to pay the cover, and found out that he could put his name down on, that they were doing open mic, and they could put his name down and get in for free, which is what he did. And he kicks off, and he says, I'm getting a divorce.
Alex and Tess have been married for almost 20 years. They're both stuck in lives that they didn't bargain for.
And she knows something's got to change.
And, you know, it just kind of unveiled itself and ultimately then unraveled because they both weren't feeling fulfilled.
We need to call it, right?
I think so too. Tess was a very successful athlete. She went to the Olympics for volleyball. She's a really impressive person, impressive athlete, very driven. And Alex, I think early on, because she had so much success when she was young, was in a support role for many years. And then there's a sort of a shift.
I'm gonna play for a club team again. And I've been reaching out to people about coaching.
I just worry.
About what?
Look, you have a full life. You're not defined by this one amazing thing you did. So I just hope that enough time has passed that you can re-enter this world without giving it too much meaning.
The style that we want to shoot it in, the style it should be designed, and it was very naturalistic. It wasn't stylized. It was a New York City movie, familiar but intimate. I think the main challenge in this one was to flesh out who these characters were and to try to understand the nuance of what could aid their story. For the family, we wanted to hit that tone with the location and to understand their stagnant, faded passion in their relationship by the blandness of the faded colors in the color palette. Nothing was saturated and alive, and it was kind of a nuance that we threw into that house.
I'd never worked with a composer before, and in the very nascent stage of this process, I heard a rhythm through the movie, these drums. based on the Lunar New Year scene, the first scene of the movie. James Newbury, our composer, he's so talented, he's so dexterous, and was a part of the process while I was shooting it all the way through. I love the music that he achieved with it in this film.
So the creative process for this was probably the most collaborative creative process I've ever had. There was no temp music, there was no kind of guide like that. It was very trusting from him, from Bradley, to me to just kind of make whatever came to me. And the best thing that I think that came out of all of it is that we didn't overscore it, because I think that one of the best parts of this film is that you really get the environment of New York City as a character. It's just a cacophony of, sound, and it really does a lot of work to support the energy of the film. So that was a great thing that by the end we discovered is, let's really try to spread things out and have score where it's necessary. And I think I'm very happy with how it came out and the balance that we found.
Working with Bradley, we've been friends for years and years and years, and we'd always sort of talked about maybe potentially doing something at some point. That's one of those things that like a pipe dream. Once we started working on this in earnest and talking about the way that he saw the film, what his vision was cinematically, it was like opening up a whole new world for me.
What's the deal, man?
Yeah, I don't know what to tell you, man. There is no deal.
Okay.
What was incredible was there had been so much writing, with Will and Chappie, Mark Chappell, and then as Bradley came into it, Bradley started to discover what the film was telling him, what the story was revealing to him.
I mean, the beautiful thing to me, at least, is that we were partners through the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to shoot anything that I haven't written. I've been part of the writing process. And for Will then to be acting those words, and for us to be talking about the scenes and be able to rewrite them on the day, every day, and because we have such a sense of what our purpose is.
That was the improv.
Yeah.
Kind of coming in that.
Yes.
That was the improv. And then we get these new pages and go, yes, yes. And of course, as we were doing it, it would change because in the moment,
you're inhabiting it.
We never had a preconceived notion of how the scene was going to go. And that's the best part. That's where the sort of improv, if you will, comes up.
Behaviorally, everything.
It's all,
it's
the
not
behavior
just
is all
words.
improv. Yeah, in that sense. We never discussed it. We never discussed you need to get there. All we discussed was we need to earn it.
So, I don't know, what do you do? You tell jokes?
I mean, sort of more like funny stories about my life.
What's funny about your life?
I had no idea your life was so bad.
No, it's not so bad.
This is why she threw you out.
And she looks at me and she goes, sometimes I just wish that you talk to me the same way that you talk to your friends. And I go, okay. Dude, my wife is driving me crazy.
Well, the truth is, I'd never done stand-up before we did this. We kept putting a placeholder stuff in there for the sets for Alex. And then in January, you said, hey, let's go to Austin. I talked to Shane Gillis, and let's go and do stand-up in Austin. And I said, okay. And then came back to New York. And we
did it twice that night.
Did it twice that night. Super scary. And we didn't even really have a plan. We just started going every night to the cellar, to the Comedy Cellar where we shot, and started doing stand-up and working on the various stages of Alex's stand-up and all the different sets.
Anyway, this is starting to actually get good, and now my time is up. This is so awesome. I will see you next time. Same place, I'm coming back. We'll meet here, right? We'll all meet here, all right. I've been Alex Novak, thank you so much.
Listen, the first word that comes to mind about what Will is bringing to this role is authenticity, and belief, belief in what he's doing, belief in all of our work, belief in his director.
I admire his audacity as an actor. There's one scene in the movie where he comes from a fight, and it's really where you see that I've experienced watching comedians throughout the years, use that space where they clearly feel comfortable to really probably express themselves in maybe the ways they don't express themselves in their personal life. And I wanted that to be very much a part of his experience of stand-up comedy, because that's the whole point. It's helps him open up.
I had sex with a woman after being married for a number of years, and it was scary.
Before every time I went up, especially in Austin those first 2 times, but even in New York, before they were introducing me as Alex Novak, we'd kind of look at each other and grab each other's hands and be like, and we'd say we're doing something different. Because the instinct is you get up there and you're like, all right, well, I should probably try to figure out a way to make these people laugh. It's like, no, this is Alex Novak.
Yeah.
And so it was a very unusual assignment.
I think I earned my keep here. What do I say? My name's Alex.
I mean, we're both lovers of stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
You know, Richard Pryor is my hero. But the truth is, Liz, who's the manager of The Cellar, who plays herself in The Cellar, she was the absolute library for us.
And we got in real time all these great comics. Remember Bill Burr, all these guys would come by and
share little
bits and pieces about them starting out, and I'd do a set and come back and he'd say, hey, great job, I think that really works, and we had guys literally say, hey, you're getting better.
Yes.
I love that. Yeah.
Which informed Gabe coming and saying you're getting better. We actually had guys.
And actually, when we went to Austin, a stand-up comic who we both know was in the green room with us, and I was just listening to him talk to Will, and we were telling him, and he goes, the thing you want to do is just talk to them, and we put that in the script.
It's easy. It's simple.
Sorry. What up, man?
Now that I'm looking up as men, I suddenly understand straight
When you see the light,
women more,
just get off,
given
right?
These straight women's experiences.
There you go.
Like,
Just talk to him. Have
receiving an
fun.
orgasm from a man who embarrasses you. No, I'm leaving. I'm done.
Hey, Charlie doesn't like to be picked up.
Is that his name?
Yeah, did you really not know Charlie's name? After all this time?
Dude, you look so good.
I had the privilege of watching, as I know you did, watching Bradley, be the most committed, bold, diligent filmmaker, editor, and suddenly you're my director. You're gonna tell me the truth. Mm-hmm. And there's no running away from it. Like, you're locking in and we're going there.
Yeah.
And of course, Will, you set that, in a way, requirement that we were gonna have each other and this was the journey we had to take. Mm-hmm. The heartbreak of it, the longing for it, the co-parenting of it, the fighting for the love story, like that's us deciding together that we were gonna be, each other's best friend through all those feelings. And that was incredible.
Have you upped your parenting since we split?
Out of necessity.
And to watch your growth in inhabiting Tess, it's one of the joys of when we wrote that scene and it was all about oh yeah, this is them at this stage of their life having this very hot night. But what's the reality, right? They're not 25.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's my favorite thing is your improvisation when Tess speaking through you.
Yeah.
When you're yeah, but I always want to win. And I remember I was like, oh yeah.
Do you feel that you're I don't know, you'll get off your phone if the boys are around thinking that maybe they'll see you on it less than me? Just being more attentive to be better than me, to beat me at parenting?
Yeah, but I always do that.
Yeah, but isn't that ridiculous?
Yeah, but I always want to win.
Laura brings so much life and depth to Tess and really helps bring it into focus. And I'm one of those people too, by the way, when I see an interview with an actor and they refer to themselves and other people as artists, makes me want to gag a little bit. But she is just that. There's no way around it.
It was amazing to just be on set and to watch these two bring themselves to these characters and then discover nuances and new things about these people and themselves while they were on set. They were so willing to be vulnerable. I really learned a lot from them on set. And yeah, it was an honor to really share this space with them.
Laura Dern and I we go back a long ways as friends. We never worked together. First, I went from just absolutely being awestruck by her acting, and then that I got to actually meet her one day, and then that we became dear friends. When I saw the movie more as a relationship film, It was all about a worthy adversary and quite honestly, somebody who's just an assassin as an actor that Will could walk into this realm and just be in the octagon, you know, with somebody that is formidable. But that also meant that the character of Tess had to be something worthy of Laura's talents. And also, I wanted her to push herself. I wanted her to get something out of this.
You left me alone.
I left you alone? You checked out?
Even before reading the script, Bradley had told me what he imagined in his head, which is an amazing way to read a script for the first time. I was so thrilled to read something that holds as much irreverence and complication and mess, but also has hope in it.
You're a decent man, Alex. And you can give yourself the grace to work through all of this.
In this particular movie, it's so authentic and the scenes take place in everyday life that it was kind of fun to discover characters in their everyday clothes.
You know, you look at these people, you want to relate to them, you want to feel for them to kind of relate better. Because it's contemporary, because it's real, per se, we just approached it exactly like that. What would real people do?
It's interesting to do. It's actually not as easy as you think, making something look effortless. But you have to put a lot of thought into it because you have to deconstruct what you normally want to do up.
I'm gonna dip my toe into the coaching world.
Tess has a very strong personality, so we wanted to show her strength through her clothes, and so a lot of her outfits have tight-fitting tops to show shoulders and arms. She's a retired volleyball player.
When she wants to be more open to Alex, we show half of her neck. We pull the hair back, so she's a little bit more open.
When Tess finally goes on that first date and she dolls herself up like she used to, going out into the world as a single woman is different. Maybe a little bit more lipstick, maybe a little bit more eye makeup, just to make yourself feel good about yourself. And just at the end, she realizes, you know, well, this is who I always was.
Oh, well. I heard you crushed the other night with some new material.
Alex's story arc in terms of costumes, at the beginning of the movie, his clothes are a bit more rumpled. They've gone through one too many washes with the kids.
But yet he gets his life together. He starts feeling a little bit better, a little bit stronger about himself. You know, his hair becomes a little bit more groomed, like maybe he's taking a little bit more care of him, just very subtly.
I kind of like that unshavenness, you know, that letting himself go and being kind of lost in a way. By finding himself, he's actually starting to take responsibility a little bit for who he is. And I thought that kind of way of dealing with his look of his character was kind of very honest and truthful.
Hey, listen, no, listen, none of it's real. That's all made up stuff, okay? Come on, it's just made up. None of it's real life, really.
My mom said that she didn't want to meddle in my marriage, which is exactly what meddlers say before they meddle in your marriage.
While we were prepping the movie here in New York, and I live here, I would rent a camera and we would just go around New York City when I was figuring out the style and the language that I wanted to use, along with Maddie Libatique, the cinematographer, who also moonlights as one of the stand-up comics in the film. He's incredible. It was really like under his tutelage and doing it together. That was a side journey for me on this movie, was being able to go into his world and learn from him.
When your director is the camera operator, you know, because it wasn't just that he was directing, it was that he was operating the camera and he is an actor and he is my scene partner and plays my husband. I think there is such an intimacy and an immediacy. Everything feels very urgent, you know what I mean? Everything feels very present, very real, very in the moment.
I don't think so. Whoa, hold on.
God, I'd love to know what this process is.
What, having the camera so close was an interesting process. I mean, you're a little more used to it, I think, but certainly for me, I don't know. I mean, I found it to be, in a lot of ways, actually kind of freeing. The set that Alex does after he leaves the birthday party and he's sort of crestfallen about this news that maybe Tess is seeing somebody. and he goes on stage, and he does this set, and he goes up and he forgets because you can tell that he's just thinking about this thing, and there's a lot going on, and he says,
Jill, this is where I got stuck.
And that moment, we never really talked about that at all.
No.
It all happened in real time.
What did I write on my thing after? What did I say? What did I say after I take them? I take them on a date. It's right there on the thing.
We had the benefit of an incredible crew.
Yeah.
You know, and the reality was like, I was gonna do that. You know, I didn't know how I was gonna get you there.
Yeah.
Because it's all lit and she's lit, and you know what I mean. And I talked to Maddie, and Scott's up there with B. You know what I mean?
Of course.
And even Steve Morrow, who knows where to put
Everybody's
the,
ready, but ready for anything.
Yeah, that was the goal. Like,
Sure.
you know, because I didn't want to get that shot of her watching you, but I wanted to reveal her in your shot.
Yeah.
It's like, that's the kind of like beautiful magic of having a crew that you trust so much.
You are good. I mean, you're bad at stand-up, but you're good. You have a good heart. You seem like a pure, like I believe you that you just found this thing and now you're in love with stand-up.
Other than the fact that I'm really insulted, thank you.
Bad. You're really bad.
This movie is so authentic and grounded, and their relationship is so grounded and quiet in a sense, you know, and it's really sweet. Like, I love that there's the mutual respect for each other, and it's really just about rediscovering yourself.
I want to be happy.
Okay, that's fine, but that doesn't mean
Don't you want me to be happy?
No, of course I do, man.
It is about finding your community or yourself or your truth in order to even begin to know who you are and how to be present for another person.
Even if you've never thought about doing a stand-up, it's not really about that. It's just about being able to be free and talk about what's going on. Chemistry, connection, love, friendship, trust, it's all there. And that was really important.
I'm just enjoying this wild ride of having an affair with my ex-wife.
Do you guys want to do more stand-up?
We've talked
You
about
guys
it.
gonna
Yeah,
do a
we're thinking
special?
like a duet type of thing.
Have you ever done stand-up?
What?
No. I don't know. I mean, I don't know.